Good morning. Welcome to the Iron Orchid Designs Facebook page. My name is Shannon Stefanacci, and I am from Pick and Boots Vintage. Did I just say that? Pick and Boots Vintage, sunny Southwest Florida, and I'm here today we are going to make something super fun, and I'm going to show you a stamp that you just have to have. This is probably my go-to stamp out of all the stamps. I love, love, love this stamp, and crazily enough, when this stamp first came out, it was one that I was like, yeah, I'll probably never use this one, but I use it all the time. We're going to get to that stamp in just a second. I just want to review what I did last week and just quickly show it. It was for Mother's Day. And if you are on, please just say, yes, I can hear you. Tell me where you're from. I always love to see where everybody's from. It's quite interesting how, it's global. So people from all different countries are tuning in, and I just love to see where y'all are from. So if you wouldn't mind, just throw in the comments where you're from. And so let me show you this. Now, this is what I did last week. So it was for Mother's Day. And so I just used the new frames mold and some old pieces of the reduté, transfer, some twine, and South Texas, all right, the city. And then you can just put the card in there, Texas, welcome Texas. And then here was another take on this. I did a different one, Wisconsin, yeah. So this had the paint inlay in the back and some, hey Pamela, Topeka, Kansas, yes. So these are some paint inlays with some frames. These are my children. So, and then I just tucked the card in the side. So it was pretty fun. But, so that's what we did last week. Now let me show you what we're going to do this week. So here's it's standing up. I have it on a stand right here. This is a glass pane that, have you ever taken apart a cabinet because it just looks better without the doors on it? You need to repurpose it. You want it open. Well, what do you do with the cabinet doors? Well, this is something that you can do with it. Let me show you. First of all, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need the ephemeral melange transfer, the vintage texture stamp. You're going to need 2 inks, stone and black. And then you're going to need, let me get that off there for a second, the stamp pads. Because this is what we're going to be making. If you notice, it has the mirrored look to the back, and I'm going to show you how to do that also. So that is what we're going to do, and let me show you an up close of this. Look at that texture, and this is all done with stamps. Isn't that amazing? And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So let's start with, let me show you, let me split my screen real quick and put me down in the bottom corner. There we go. So see this ugly old cabinet door? It's yucky brown. It's been painted a few times. Well, we're going to give this some new life today. Here we go. And I've already, ta-da! I've painted the first layer on. I've painted both layers on just because I know you don't want to watch me paint and watch the paint dry. So we're going to go right to it. Thanks, Deb. I appreciate that. Oh, the UK. Hi, Joanne. Minnesota. Oh, gosh. Warwickshire. Wow. I'm sure I brutalized that name. I apologize. But thank you for joining us today. So here is the transfer we're going to use. This one is probably one of my favorites. The ephemeral melange. It took me forever to learn how to say it. And I'm probably not saying it 100% correctly. But there's so much you can do with this one. You have, oops, let me get that out of there. These are my cut pieces. Some big ones. I'm going to tear this one out because this is the one we're going to be using. I love, love, love red. So I'm going to stick that to the side. And these are like little seed packets. But look at this. See, there's lots of mini ones in here too. So much you can do with these. Look. These are just, they're so much fun. And I know, have you ever been to a thrift store and you've seen these jars? Let me put this down here. Look at these jars. These little ones right here fit on here perfectly. And this little added detail, it just adds to it. Oklahoma, Oregon, Marco Island. Yay! You're my neighbor, kind of. And then there's bigger ones too. So these just fit perfectly on here and they look fantastic. They just dress up the jar so much. All right, so that's basically, I mean, look at all these. There's so many you can use here. I've used this one several times. If you watched me before on here, I did that large 4 by 8 foot sign with the Gregory's catalog paint inlay and with these. I'm going to be showing you a picture of that later because I'm going to show you the stamp we're going to use, and I use it on there. Real quick, hey Carrie, if at all you have any questions about transfers, the stamps that we're going to be using, please throw them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them for you. So all the transfers, as you know, they are top quality, bright, vibrant colors. Now, sometimes there's parts of them you might not want to use. So you just simply cut them out and save them because like on this one over here, the other one I did, I just saved these. I just cut them out. I didn't need them. But if I decided I did want to use them, I could just go back and rub them on. So never throw them away. Oh, Canada. Oh, yes, I know. It's sitting right here. It's waiting for the mailman. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to cut out just the portion that I'm not going to use yet. I can always add it later if I want to. Always just save them because you never know when you're going to need a little, you know, little quip tip or little detail or little layered look. So always just save your extra pieces. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. I've already washed my glass. So now I just need to decide where I want to put it. Do I want to put it center it? Do I want to have it off center? Do I want to go this way? I think this will be the best. So we're going to put it just like this. So you simply just pull the back off, put it to the side, and put it on. And I'm just going to give it a once over. And this is the tool that comes with it. Plastic. And you just simply add a little pressure and rub the transfer on. Oh, I'm sure you have already heard about Wednesday, May 18th. There's going to be a big announcement from the IOD sisters. Rumor has it there are 12 new products coming out. 3 stamps, 3 paint inlays, 3 transfers, and 3 molds. Definitely want to check that out. You guys are going to be blown away with their creativity. Okay, so I'm going to start lifting. You can always tell when it's coming off because it becomes translucent, so you know it's released from the paper. And if it hasn't quite released, you just simply fold it back down and give it another rub. Let's see. Oh, I know, Jacqueline. It's good. It's so exciting. I've already had a sneak peek, but I'm not allowed to tell. A lot of the retailers have been playing with the new stuff, and the things they are creating are simply amazing. All right, so there we go. Now, I could absolutely leave it like this. This is beautiful. It's bright. But for me, it's a little boring. It needs stuff. Hello from East Texas. So it needs. Let me introduce you to my favorite stamp. It's newer, but it's compiled of stamps that were already around. So I put it here. Hopefully the glare is not too bad. This is Vintage Textures stamp. One of my ultimate favorites, go-to stamp. I use it for so many different things. And I'm going to show you them in just a second. But you have the chippy paint, excuse me, Crackle. This one is the one that goes like for metal, Crackle. And I know they have names, but I'm really bad at the name part. And then this beautiful one over here. So we're going to be using two today. We're going to be using the Crackle side and the chippy paint one. So, but before we do that, let me just show you. Let's go with this picture. Solo. So this, if you tuned in, you saw that I created this one too. Oh, Sharita, I hear you, hon. You're going to have to buy a little at a time. So this was a big sign, but if you look closely, look, I used the Crackle Stamp. Look how cute it is. It just adds that extra extra layer of texture, I don't know, goodness that just makes it look truly authentic. And I did that without having to put any extra, layer of crackle, another layer of paint. It's simply just the stamp. Simple, simple, simple. Now look at this. This is from the bee from the Brocante transfer, which I have just ordered and it's en route. Woo! If you are looking for the Brocante, check with your local retailer of the. Let me put me back up here. To order it, there are. In my link in the description, you will see that there is a link for all the retailers near you or online, and you can get any of this stuff from them, including this favorite stamp, the must. This is one of those must-have ones. Okay, so I just showed you the bee. I'm going to put that back in here. That's going to go to the, nope, not that one. I want to go with the bee. Now, so I want to show you how I did it. So what I did was I took some ink, used my brayer, got a lot of ink on the brayer, and then I simply rolled it on evenly to the Crackle from the Vintage Texture Stamp, and then I put it right on top of the bumblebee. Now look how cute this comes out. What I did was I did it all the way around, and it wasn't meant to look perfect. It was only supposed to have cracks in certain areas, but look how cute that came out. What do you think? This is why the stamp is just so amazing. Now let me show you this one. Let me get this back up here. Here is just a normal old amber bottle. And then I put, what is this? The Traditional Pots transfer on there. And then look, can you see? Let me get it closer to the camera. Can you see the Crackle stamp? I use the white ink. What do you think about that? Isn't that amazing? You don't have to use a Crackle in just the black or the stone. You can use it in white. Oh, Sharita, I know. That stamp is just amazing. All right, so let's get to it. Let's use the darn stamp. Let's have some fun. Now, with this look here that we made, or that I made on the project for today, you can see that there's a lot going on here. Well, we are going to do that here. Now, the first thing I did when I made my prototype was I took the chippy paint part of the Vintage Texture Stamp. And normally I'm a go-to brayer with my ink. However, the brayer I feel puts on the ink a little bit heavier, and I want it to be lighter, so I'm going to go with my stamp pad. I've talked to several different people. Half the people like to put it on with the stamp pad. Other people like to use a brayer. Find which one you like the best and stick with it. So, oh, it's a little dirty. I'm gonna use the color, black first. I have black and stone already inked up, ready to go. So I'm going to take just this part of my chippy stamp, and I inked it. If you feel maybe you put a little bit too much on, you can take a little and dab it off. Now I'm going to strategically place these around my cabinet door. There we go. And there's still enough ink on here that I can use the same and just put it, like, say, over here. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want it to be, how do I say this? Like the same thing on every side. You want to mix it up so there is some diversity. So it's not like equal. Now I'm going to use the other side. I like this one a lot too. So I'm going to stamp this one up just really lightly. And I'm going to go, sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll leave half of the stamp off just so it doesn't look like it's forced. And do some over here. Ta-da. And I'm going to do one more up there. See how it's starting to develop? All right, we're going to go this one. And I'm going to have half of it off the glass. There we go. So it's just enough. On the bottle, do you need the varnish after the stamp? Oh, I didn't do anything on the bottle because the bottle does not get touched or anything. It's more decoration. So I just kind of left it with just ink. Okay, so now that is my first layer of the chippy paint. Now I'm going to use the Crackle. This is just so much fun. I love this one. And they had a version where it was it was a 12 by 12, and it was a little bit harder to use. So this one is very easy to manipulate. So now I don't want to just stick the whole square down. I'm going to randomly be putting different parts down. So I'm going to, let's start over here. And I'm just lightly touching it. I'm not pushing hard at all. So you can barely even see it in the camera. But I'm lightly putting some of this Crackle on. I don't want it to be heavy, and I don't want it to be too much, because Crackle isn't always on your whole entire piece. It's in certain areas. So I'm going to go over here, a little bit up here. And if you notice, I'm just turning my stamp to different directions, different parts, just to get some different, sorry, I'm focused on my project, just to get some different layouts. There we go. So that one's a little heavier. And I'll do a little bit right here. Now already you can see quite a difference with this. Let me get a little wipe here. Now we are not done. We're gonna have some fun, but before we can do the next part, I need the black ink to dry just a little bit. So let me just get my hands clean. While this part is drying, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to show you how we did the mirror part. The mirror part is really, really interesting. See, right now it's see-through, so you can see through it, and you could totally leave it like this if you wanted to. But I kind of like this look, the mirrored look. Now, the mirror on this one is see-through right now because I want to show you how to make it look like a true mirror, but I couldn't put it on because I wanted to do it live with you today, because this will not be dry for the mirror part. So there are several different types of mirror spray out there. I'm not going to get into, oh, crap. Whoops. I'm not going to get into the different brands, the different whatever. Just know there's several different types of mirror spray out there. You can get at any craft store. This one happens to be a pump spray. There are other ones that you can just, I think I'm clogged. There are other ones that are like spray cans and they spray really easy. I didn't want to have that one inside. This one's not too bad. It's bad enough, but not. And it's really having a difficult time spraying. I did test it, people. I swear. All right. Anybody have any questions so far on, or how many of you have the vintage texture stamp? And do you use it a lot? Like, I use it so much. It's such a great way of adding. There we go. All right. Well, at least I have it on this one to show you. You could see it, you know, pretty good, but it's not perfect. I can fix that off camera. But look at my fingers. I'm gonna wipe that up real quick. Okay, so it looks like the majority of the black is dry. It might be wet in a few places. So I'm going to move on to the next part. What I did for, oh good, Sharita, yeah, it is nice. To kind of make it look dirty around here so it's not so bright, what I did is I took my stone pad, and I just kind of lightly I was dragging it. Here I'm just going to push it up and down. See how it's giving a dirty look? Could you use glaze? Absolutely. Could you use wax? Sure. But this, to me, just gives enough. It's not too heavy. And this is just a little bit of the stone. I did not re-ink it. I didn't want it to have too much on there. All right, I'm going to go over this black. It's a little wet, so it might smear just a tad, but that's okay. All right. So look at the difference. However, we're not done. After this is over, I'll be taking some close-ups because looking at the camera, you really can't see how close or how much detail this has added to it. So when I take the pictures, you'll definitely see. Now, the last thing I want to do on this piece is I'm going to go back to my black stamper, and I'm going to simply go along the edges so it looks like it's distressed, but it's really not. I don't have to make that mess. And I'm just lightly dragging it on. And it's okay if I miss a certain part. Now what I want to do, can you see that? See how it frames it in? I guess you can see there's a shadow, so you really can't see all that well, but you will in the pictures when I'm finished. Okay, now I need to do this part too, because see how white that is? I'm going to use I'm just going to take the corner though, and really lightly. Well, there's no ink there, so let's try this corner. See the way it frames it in? Look at that. Oh my gosh. See? I love it. What do you think? There's so much you can do with just that vintage texture stamp and the ink. Of course, with the pads. So, I don't know what that is. All right, so now we have two beautiful works of art that we can actually hang on the wall if we wanted, and we can actually, you can make a whole gallery of the different flowers. You can do the seed packs, but see this? Okay, now I just want to show you one last thing. I'm going to switch places with these two because I want to show you how you finish the mirrored look. So I'm just going to switch places with these two. I'm not sure if that's dry or not, so I'm just going to stick it up here. Oops. Let me stick it the right way. These flowers go up like that. There we go. All right, so now, right now, it's got the mirrored look. However, you can still see my fingers through it. Oh, so you can still see my fingers through it. You don't want to be able, but a true mirror, you can't see through it. So after you mirror spray it, flip this over. What I did was I took a little bit of vinegar, I sprayed it, took a paper towel and just dabbed it just to make it look more vintage. Now, next thing you do is you simply paint it with a little bit of black chalk paint. And what this does is it seals the back of the mirror. And you really don't have to use black. I've done this before with different colors. It just kind of depends on the look you're going for. This, to me, I'm going for more of a vintage look. So I'm just going to, I'm going to put some, there we go. Thanks, Joanne. Appreciate it. And this paint has good coverage, so I probably only need to do one coat. Sometimes, depending on the brand of paint that you use, you might have to do two, or the brush style that you're using. This is chalk paint because I had it handy. Any brand is fine, but wait to see the difference just by simply adding the black behind it. Almost. Hi, Laura from Las Vegas. I love this feature on here, so I like to always try to put some up. There haven't been any questions, though, I don't think. Well, there was one, but I answered it. Anybody else have another question they want to ask? All right, let me put that to the side. Now watch, when I flip this over, it'll look more like a true mirror. So now behind it, you can't see my fingers, it's a mirror. I'm going to put just on the big screen. So essentially what I did was we just created a mirror. There we go. See? Beautiful. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Shannon with Pick and Boots Vintage. You can give me a like or a follow over on Facebook on my page. I am always on Mondays, the 1st and 3rd of the month at noon Eastern time. Don't forget Wednesday, you want to tune in to the sisters. They are going to be introducing 12 new products. You guys are going to be blown away by their creativity. So, any last questions for me? Thanks, Denise. Oh, thanks, Grace. All right, you guys, you all have a fabulous day. Be on the lookout for when we post the finished pictures of these two repurposed cabinet doors. All right, have a fabulous day, guys.